I don't know where the future of this channel is heading because I've honestly just been going with the flow since coming back. After this, I want to start moving away from making girl world content. I don't want you guys to feel like I'm not grateful or that I don't want to embrace my entire audience. I don't want to completely ignore my past going forward. I just feel like I've finally been able to stand up for myself and talk about my side, and that's all I ever really wanted to do. I felt in the beginning like I needed to come back again and finally say something I hadn't said before. I wanted to share my part in all of this after being provoked for so long, while having my story told for me in a hurtful and untrue way for years. It was a combination of my circumstances, the right timing, and my own choices that brought me back to YouTube again. I didn't know at the time what I was really getting myself into. I deserve to speak my piece and so many of you listened, and I'll forever be grateful for that. Every step of the way I wasn't sure what to expect from the audience or from her in retaliation. I wanted to make this video now to try and take responsibility for my actions and things people have criticized me for in the past and in the present. I want to move forward to reflect and to learn. I want to be held accountable, but I also want to show that change can be possible. For me, for you, even for people like Amberlynn, if they are willing to accept their faults. It isn't beyond any of us, but growth isn't simple. Forgiveness isn't simple. I do not forgive Amberlynn, and she also does not need my forgiveness to change. It's natural to want to defend yourself against attacks and criticism. I have a lot of thoughts about all of it. I've been messy, I've been confused, I've been wrong and defensive. I think it's time I admit to my wrongs and correct a few narratives surrounding myself and my past. Before getting into the past, I want to quickly talk about the discussion of cancer that happened during my last live stream. When I post reaction videos, I edit them so I don't sound too silly. I have some more time to think about my answers before posting them publicly when recording a video rather than reacting live. I want to say here and now that Amberlynn did have cancer. I didn't want to confuse the audience further. I only meant to say that I didn't know the details anymore and couldn't clarify those details. Going into detail and giving any answer other than yes, she did have cancer was wrong of me. My intention wasn't to stir up even more speculation, but my intention doesn't matter when that was the result. I'm sorry for commenting on it whatsoever, and I never will again. My stance is firm and will not change. I was there for it, and me not remembering details is not due to it not being a valid or real experience for her. It was. I do want to comment on her reaction to this in her recent videos. I understand that she is upset that I brought this up at all. I tried to clarify in the comments of my video and in a community post immediately after the live stream, but I understand that the damage was done for some. That criticism is understandable. However, Amberlynn has used this as a way to rewrite history and say that me not remembering details was because I didn't care and that I was an awful partner. That's just not true. As she said herself, I was there for her at the hospital for days. I was worried. I was updating family and friends every step along the way. I didn't want people to think I'm some saint for doing this, but I want you to know that no one would have done those things if they didn't truly care about someone. I wouldn't have been there during the doctor appointments. I wouldn't have stayed with her every day at the hospital. I wouldn't have taken care of her while she was recovering if I did not care. While I was physically there for Amberlynn, my attention was split between her and my mother's own battle with cancer. During Amberlynn's time in the hospital, my mom's health was quickly declining. She entered hospice care on July 16th. We lost her July 24th. That's the reason my memory isn't clear. Still, I was wrong for bringing it up. I admit that. And I will not be speaking on cancer or any serious physical health details after this. I also will not be speaking on or speculating on Amber's weight or relationships. I have discussed and brought to your attention hygiene and mental health and other similar things because of their direct impact on me and my past relationship with her. But I try hard to only speak about my own involvement in most of those things and the context surrounding them. While I was dating Amberlynn, I chose to be ignorant to a lot of things going on and to a lot of her behaviors. I did it with good intentions, but that didn't matter. I was still an enabler to her behavior for years. Towards herself, myself, my family, our friends, and the audience watching. Now I know that I can't change someone else, that they need to make changes themselves. Helping someone is not always helping them. Sometimes by helping them, you're only enabling them to become a worse version of themselves. I also want to admit to enabling her when it came to spending money and the food she ate. I fell into a dynamic where it became normal to talk down to me and to yell when I said no, to be pushed and pushed until I caved and gave in to her requests, and then I would just cave faster to avoid the pushing. That's not normal. I should have taken more people's advice than left, and now I wish I had. I want to also address here both of the GoFundMe situations. The first one in question was the GoFundMe that my family made for my mom. This was to help with medical bills that were piling up during her cancer treatments. Amberlynn helped by sharing the GoFundMe to her subscribers at the time, but it did end up causing some controversy when people began saying that because my mom had remarried, that she would have had insurance to cover all her needs. When donating your own money to a cause, I can understand why this would worry anyone who contributed. At the time, my mom was in a relationship with her partner Jerry, who she did marry, but their marriage was not legally binding. They had a ceremony with the relative as the officiant. She wanted to have the ceremony, but didn't want to get legally remarried. My mom was very religious and had been married before to my dad. After their divorce, she didn't want to legally marry again. She called what she had with Jerry a Bible marriage, and it was not official, and so she couldn't benefit from his insurance. They had a small wedding for themselves and the family, but there were never any signed legal documents. I believe money is always a difficult topic for anyone. Asking for money, for help, especially among people who grew up in poverty, can be like asking for blood. If you've ever dealt with hefty medical bills, you know how complicated and sinister the American medical system can be. I agreed to promote the GoFundMe because I was really hoping I could help my mom. None of us expected the backlash that came from it at the time. Instead of explaining all of this respectfully and showing understanding for everyone's concerns, I felt attacked and defended myself and my family instead. During that relationship, I never saw the positivity in the community. I had a lot of negative opinions towards everyone in it and the people who criticized me. This caused me to become overly sensitive toward criticism from the audience a lot, but I was not in the same headspace then that I am now. In criticism, there's always room for understanding and improvement, but it's not the same as an attack, and I see that now. The second GoFundMe situation was post-breakup. I didn't have much to my name at the time. I had the car, the one that Amberlynn was paying for while we were together, but it was not paid off. I continued to make payments on the car after moving out, but it had a lot wrong with it. Eventually it broke down. I wasn't sure if it was going to be fixable or if I was going to have to find a way to get a newer car. The original idea for the GoFundMe was to be able to get a newer car. However, the money that was raised, though very generous, was just not enough for that. After closer inspection from a family member, it looked like we were going to be able to fix it and keep it working. That was the cheaper option at the time. The majority of the GoFundMe money went to parts and repairs. I used the rest of the money to pay insurance and the car payment and other bills. I understand now that I should have communicated better, and I definitely should not have gotten snappy with people who came for me after the fact. It was easier back then to get a reaction out of me, especially after having such a skewed view of everything that was happening online. I thought that fighting back in a petty way was all I could do. I know that some people were unhappy with me over these incidents, and I'm so sorry to anyone who felt like they were misled for my bad communication and awful reaction. It was never my intention to leave anyone unsure about why they had chosen to support me. At another time, later on, there were a few YouTube channels and their subscribers who raised money for me. I didn't know about this instance until I got a message offering it to me. I was told to use this money for whatever I needed or wanted, no strings attached. The money was used on groceries, bills, things for my bedroom where I was moving at the time, and yes, some went to smoking. I want to thank everyone who donated back then, to the GoFundMe for my mom, for myself, and to the people who raised that money for me when I was in a difficult position. I really am grateful for the support I've been given over the years, even back then when I couldn't see it. You all contributed to helping me every time. I never wanted anyone to feel like I didn't appreciate their generosity. Getting angry and defensive with people was the wrong way to go. I should have been more understanding and grateful. It can be hard to see the good things happening when so much feels like it's going wrong. I remember being called out for things like the typo negative flag, the GoFundMes, and the enabling, and I know I reacted poorly to those things every time. I felt misunderstood for the reasoning behind them, but they were still valid criticisms to make towards me. Taking criticism is hard. Listening to others' opinions about you is hard, especially if your ego is already damaged. I still should have listened, understood, and reacted with empathy. I worked really hard to get better at those things, and I hope it shows now and in the future. Back then, at some point, though I'm not sure exactly when, a post resurfaced of a horrible picture that was posted on Facebook. A photo of one of my ex's underwear. I didn't post the picture myself, but I'm sure I knew it was going to be posted, so that doesn't matter. I also participated in the comments and the harassment that came along with it. My ex and I had a very unhealthy relationship. I was stupid and angry and felt justified in something that was disgusting and wrong. There is no justification for that. What happened in the relationship does not matter. Nothing she could have done to me or anyone excuses or makes her deserving of that being shared. I shouldn't have allowed that post to go up. I didn't stop it from happening. It's all terrible, and I'm sorry, and I've grown enough to know that hurting someone because you're hurt doesn't fix anything. It only causes more pain. I want to talk about my history of saying things that were offensive and hurtful. Someone sent to me an old clip from a live stream, it was a you now, of me saying very insensitive things. I was reading comments sent in, and the conversation turned when I made a hand gesture for okay. People pointed out that hand gesture could be harmful. I reacted poorly to people's criticism. I had a meltdown. I wasn't listening, and the things I said to defend myself were even worse than what I'd originally done. At the time, I didn't see it as anything offensive. I know now that it wasn't my place to decide whether or not what I said or did was offensive. I'm not affected by racism. Microaggressions exist, especially from white people who don't understand the complexities of being a racial minority in America. I thought that because my intentions weren't bad, that what I said wouldn't have been hurtful. But that doesn't mean that words don't have power and cannot hurt others. Intention doesn't dictate how others feel.
Hey.
Okay, what does this mean? What mean?
That's pinky promise.
No, that must mean that I'm racist against Guatemalans.
What, babe?
This means I'm racist against white people.
What, babe? Babe, what are you smoking?
This means I'm racist against monkeys and alligators and Tyrannosaurus Rexes.
I literally am one of them right now. I'm like, what is this woman saying?
Because they said I threw up a white power hand gesture, so I'm like, okay, fine. This is racist, and this is racist, and this is racist, and this is racist, and everything's racist, and...
Oh my god!
She said she's racist against monkeys!
Look at what
She called black people monkeys!
I think what Becky was trying to say is that this does not mean whatever you guys are making it mean. This means okay. Have you guys seen people be like, okay?
Okay, fine. What about the emoji?
Oh, yeah, there is an emoji that does that.
Yeah. Becky's having a breakdown. I was live and went into panic mode, saying all these exaggerated examples to plead my case, when all I needed to do was shut up and listen. Even mentioning that as an example was narrow-minded. It doesn't matter what my intention was. Watching my reaction back then left me feeling embarrassed and ashamed for ever reacting in that way. I understand why it was seen as racially insensitive and upsetting to viewers then and now. It upsets me knowing I said those things to others and got so frustrated and acted with such contempt. I know that hearing what I said in the live stream hurt people. I'm sorry. Now I want to address these rumors about my stepsister. This is a complicated issue, and I don't know if bringing more attention to it is the best idea, but I can't let it continue to be misunderstood and spread around the way it has. This all happened right before I met Amberlynn, and the rumor popped up during Amberlynn and I's relationship. At that time, Amberlynn spoke to my family about what happened. She spoke to Jerry, my mom, and my sisters, who told her exactly what really happened. There is even video evidence of her defending me during a live stream where I tried to explain what happened at the time.
Becky never tried to date her stepsister. Ever. What? Becky talked to this girl one time, and she was trying to be there for her in a message. You can clarify more if you want.
Yeah, okay, so...
We're so stupid.
My mom started dating this guy, and he had this daughter, this stepdaughter, and she was getting on to where I work, and I found out that her girlfriend completely dumped her for some dude at work. And I told her, I'm like, look, I still think, I messaged her, we didn't know each other. I'm like, I still think that you should try to get on despite what happened. Things will be okay. Just ignore her if you have to. Do this for you. Don't come to work. Don't refuse to come to the job if, over a girl. Like, I'm stumbling over my words because I'm trying to get it out.
I think it's pretty ridiculous at this day and age, just because someone's nice to you, that means they want to date you.
Yeah. But I didn't explain it as well as I could have because I was on the spot. I find it really upsetting that Amberlynn has now tried to weaponize this rumor against me, but that is not what is most important. Back then, my mom was dating Jerry, the same man she eventually became Bible married to. My parents had been divorced for a while, but my mom grew up very religious and the divorce was hard on her. Our family supported mom moving on, but Jerry's ex-wife despised my mom. Jerry had a daughter from his previous marriage. She was younger than I was, and I met her once when I'd gone to Jerry's house for the first time with my mom. I never met Jerry's ex-wife. Our families are not in contact anymore and have not been for years outside of still talking to Jerry occasionally. Interpersonal drama was heated back then. I don't exactly know what happened between her and my mother and her partner or between them and Jerry. What I do know is that their daughter started to work at the same plant that I worked at in a different department, and that the daughter's girlfriend also worked there. It was a really big plant, and you usually didn't see people outside of your department. At that time, the daughter and her girlfriend were having some issues, and my mom and Jerry were worried that the daughter would stop showing up to her job. Jerry asked me to message her and encourage her to continue working. I messaged her. I might have said some things about my own experience being queer in a family who didn't support me. I also said the job paid pretty well and that she should continue working there since the place is so big that the likelihood of running into her girlfriend during whatever was happening at the time was very low. But we didn't talk much. I'm not even sure that she responded. I certainly never harassed her at work, and I was never interested in her in any romantic or inappropriate way. I think when things were okay again with her girlfriend, she may have taken offense to my advice, thinking I'd overstepped a boundary by mentioning the relationship. I probably shouldn't have gotten involved, and if me messaging her at all upset her or made her uncomfortable, then I am sorry for that. Nothing I said was inappropriate or was ever meant to be taken as an advance toward her. This all came out online because her mother, Jerry's ex-wife, started to post on Kiwi Farms. At first it was just things about Amberlynn, it seemed. Then it became things about Jerry and her relationship with him, and her hatred for my mom. And then she told the story about what happened between myself and her daughter. I wish I had more to tell you about it. I don't have any messages to screenshot or evidence to show because, to be honest, they were not part of my life. But in a he said, she said type of situation, there isn't anything I can really say other than that didn't happen, and I never sexually or verbally harassed anyone. The internet is a really scary place. A place where the loudest usually wins and anyone has the freedom to say whatever they feel at any moment. It may feel freeing one minute and restricting another. I'm grateful for the platform I've gained, but I'm also pretty sensitive. Having so many eyes on me, gaining so much attention is hard to swallow. I came back because I didn't see another way out, and I was tired of always being nitpicked, lied about, and pushed by Amberlynn. I didn't know how my return would be received. A few months ago, I never could have imagined that I'd spill so many secrets so publicly or speak so openly about what my experience was really like. A lot of you have left comments talking about how I've inspired you with my story, but genuinely, it's you guys who have inspired me. I don't think I would have come forward without your support. I don't think I would have grown so much without you. I think maybe we could all help each other be better going forward. I know gossip and drama is fun. I know that LOL cows are a thing for a reason, just like reality TV. But I guess I just don't know if continuing to talk about her, even just by calling out her behavior, is what's best. Am I enabling the cycle of abuse further by bringing attention to her at all? I think it's important to call out bad behavior and to give criticism when constructive. But what about when it doesn't reach the person? She does not listen. That's never used constructively. The damage is there and it can't be taken back. The positive out of all of this is that I was able to stand up for myself and tell my side of the story, and in turn maybe empower others to do the same. I hope that this video eases the worries of people hurt by my actions. I hope that it clears up some things for the rest of you, and I hope that we can continue to move forward from all of this in different ways. I want to try to be kinder going forward, to think more before I speak. Girl World will be forever. It will follow me, and I'm sure everyone involved in the ecosystem for their whole careers. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.